On this video, we will look at the Property Inspector window in the VRMath2 editor. Property Inspector again is very packed, very functional window. By default, when it is loaded, it is in the Material Chooser tab. And as you can see, there are quite a few different tabs here, and let's just go through them one by one. Now, to demonstrate the Material Chooser tab, we can get insert a cube, and for example, bring the cube to the screen. If we say click and select this object, say if we didn't click and there's no object selected, if we click and then click on the object, then it will be selected. And once the object is selected, we can quickly show whether you want to display in this virtual space or not. So that's for every object there's a render option whether you want to display or not. Now back to this Material Chooser. It's as easy as you just click on one material setting and it will be applied to the object selected. And as you can see, it also shows you the index 0, 24. The 0 means the set 0, it's artistic decoration colors here, and 24 is number 24, this one, 25 will be this one, 26, and so on. And of course, there are so many sets. If you prefer winter color, for example, and you can apply different color setting to the material, to the object that you want to apply it to. So that's the Material Chooser. To know, there's also a sort of glass color which is transparent. For example, if you choose a transparent one, then you can see the turtle is actually inside because the cube is inserted at the turtle's location. And I'll just keep this for a while here, the transparent color, because later we'll be use that again here. Let's move on to the next tab here called Material Editor. So Material Editor allows you to even customize more of the color and material settings here. This AI is called ambient intensity. At the moment, it's probably not working because of the 3D X3 library that we used. They haven't quite updated that. The shyness color should work, but it depends on what kind of material you choose. As you can see, it reflect here and also reflected the shyness here. The shyness also relates to the headlights that you have here. If you don't have lights, then of course it wouldn't shine anyway. The transparent settings here, so you can make it not transparent or totally transparent, and remember it's 500 at the moment. And here, this one is called diffuse color. Now each material has diffuse color and emissive color, and also the specular color. And well, just try it out and see until that you find the color you like. This is the Material Editor where you can customize that. The material setting, in fact, it has actually a total of 6 different color settings. So that's the Material Editor. Now if we move on to the next tab, is called Texture Chooser, and again VRMath2 editor includes a few at the moment 11 sets from 0 to 10 of materials, image textures that you can apply it on. Say for example I apply this one. Now because of the color setting, you can't really see clearly, say if you make it non-transparent, and perhaps the emissive color is too strong, therefore you can't really see the texture. Right, so that's all how they are related here. And of course you can sort of reset that material, so by default this kind of material has really easy to see texture, image texture setting there. So there are quite a few different material, if you like, in this metal box, and you can just simply click and apply the texture there. I'll just keep the texture there and move to the next one. It's called texture setting. It's similar to as these two as to be a set, and that is to be a set there. Here is that you can further fine-tune the image texture there. It firstly records the URL there for you. If you like to apply to a different material image texture, you can upload yours, or you can select from the media folder, or certainly go home and you can upload somewhere something like this, or it can be applied and so on. You can upload your own image texture, but I'll keep that for now for this one, so we can test a little bit of the repeat scale here. This is whether you want to repeat S or T. It's just the two-dimensional space there, and just have a try on the setting numbers, and you can certainly work it out what kind of mapping that you prefer to have. Alright, so that is the repeat, and here you can this is the translation in S and T. I think S and T are actually XY direction there, so you can do some translating there, and the texture will then shift towards different location there. And then there's a rotation as well. You can actually rotate the image there. Alright, so you can reset everything to the default setting. You can browse and apply texture or remove texture. Right, so that is the well, select one here. That's the texture setting there. Texture setting tab. Now let's look at the font editor here. Now the font editor deals specifically with the font, so now I'll just delete this object here, and let's do some test here. So I can type in any text that I want to insert here. If I type in hello world, and I can select a few different text there and just insert label, and as you can see it's inserted there. You can again click to select the object, and you can apply it, and the texture if you like. Probably won't have the image texture. No, it doesn't apply there. So that is the font setting there. You can increase the font size or increase the font spacing there. If you make 2 lines, then just click outside, it will apply there to become 2 lines as well. So you can have multiple lines of text there, and certainly you can change the font and change the alignment there, and so by default it's middle and middle. I can remember that. Right, so that is the font editor. if we sort of delete that one, to insert a font is actually called label, and we can simply type in hello world, and that is how that is inserted there. And if you select that, it will reflect in here of the setting of this. Alright, so let's go back to the final two tabs there. Again, here I would like to sort of delete this text here, and let me insert another object, say for example a cylinder here. So it's a cylinder that I inserted. Let me go to the object setting here. If I select this cylinder, you can see there are quite a few detailed properties of this cylinder that you can see from there. Now firstly, you can change the radius here, and if you type enter, it won't change, but instead it was outlined by red color. That means you have done some change, but you haven't updated that. So if I click on update, you can see the radius increased to 0.6, and the radius is 0.6, so the diameter will be 1.2, and the height, the same thing. You can sort of update that to the higher height as well. The solid is a setting that we probably need to go to. Let me do the top first here. So if I remove the top, true to become false, then you see there's nothing here. And here is where we can experiment the solid here. If this object is treated as a solid object, that means it doesn't draw what you see from inside out, and unless you make the solid false and you update, so you can actually see from inside there. And so the green color should be probably the background color, because of the background is something like that. And I can actually also remove the bottom here, false here, updates, and so you can see that is becoming a tube, a cylinder that I removed top and bottom. There's subdivision. If I move to less, and then you can see it's actually become sort of octagonal type of cylinder, but on the outside it's rendered quite smoothly there. So by default it has 32, so it looks like quite circular there. So that's the object setting, and feel free to experiment with any of the object there, because every object has all different properties there. Now go to the last one here, is the what we call transform editor. Alright, so if I just move mouse over, it should appear transform editor. There's translation, scale, and center field for you to experiment, and it's as simple as that. If we do sort of that should be the XYZ, maybe I'll just change that to the XYZ. The total becomes these coordinates errors here. So this red one here is in fact the X direction. So if I increase that, you can see that the cylinder is actually moving towards there, and negative as well, and same as the Y, up, and Z as well. So Z is towards you, positive, and away from you, that's negative. And the scale is also very useful. You can increase the height by setting the scale. So this is different to the heights in the object setting there. 1.2 is fixed, but the scale can be changed easily. And certainly you can say change the X scale to be narrower, and you can see you can get this kind of cylinder if you like, and the Z as well. So it becomes something like that. And if you have selected this one, you can actually rotate by what you feel, how you feel like. and because it's scaled, so the scale orientation does work here, unless if you have scale as 1 1 1, this scale orientation wouldn't show any effect. But if the scale is not 1, then the scale orientation will have some effect there, and simply click these two so that we return to the original thing. And you can type in, if you know how to work out the numbers, you can type in the number and update or reset all here. So I think that's all what we have for the property inspector. I hope that's useful.